Currency is not just paper and ink. To the elite, money is merely a vessel for time. Every second spent is a transaction. Every minute wasted is a capital loss you cannot recover. Stop looking at the price tag. Start looking at the life hours required to earn it. The millionaire mindset isn't about hustle. It's about the unwavering focus of a singular, burning intent.
In the quiet corners of high-stakes finance, there are rules that are never spoken aloud, only observed. These are the hidden protocols of the self-made. Look closely at the tools of the trade. They don't measure success in dollars, but in the freedom of hours. To master the game, you must first learn to read the hidden ledger of life. The first rule of the elite is silence. You do not announce your strategy to the world, you execute it. When you speak your plans, you release the dopamine of the achievement without doing the work. The silhouette of power is often quiet, watching and calculating while others are busy seeking validation for ideas they haven't even started yet. Rule 1. Price your life in hours. This is the fundamental shift. Most people see a car and see a monthly payment. The millionaire sees a car and calculates the months of their life they must trade to own it. When you realize that a luxury purchase costs you 3 years of freedom, the allure begins to fade into logic. Consider the high-end vehicle. It is not a status symbol. It is an architectural commitment of your energy. By rolling up the plans and securing them, you acknowledge that every asset has a time cost. If the cost of the asset exceeds the value of the time it takes to acquire it, the deal is dead. Discipline is the ultimate filter. Rule 2. Never celebrate a victory that hasn't finished breathing. Many entrepreneurs fail because they pop the champagne at the letter of intent, not the wire transfer. An empty chair is a sign of a focused mind, leaving the room to work while others are still cheering for a goal that is only half won. Stay in the shadows until it is done. High-stakes tension requires psychological discipline. That small red light on the panel isn't just a signal, it's a reminder of the risks involved in every move. You must learn to sit with the discomfort of the unknown without flinching. The green and gold surroundings suggest wealth, but the red light warns of the constant vigilance required to maintain it. Rule 3. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Like a grand tapestry, your life is woven with threads of habit, but when a thread becomes a tether, it must be cut. The most dangerous place for a millionaire is a comfortable chair with no problems to solve. You must be willing to prune your own success to make room for something greater. Pruning is not a loss, it is a strategic subtraction. By removing what no longer serves the vision, you create the space necessary for the next level of evolution. Look at the gap in the weave. It is a deliberate choice. It represents the courage to let go of a good life to pursue a legendary one. Precision is your best tool. Rule 4. Fire your plateaued clients and stagnant ideas. A contract is only as good as the growth it facilitates. If a relationship has stopped moving upward, it is dragging you down. A bold signature on a new agreement often requires the quiet termination of an old one. This is the clinical nature of progress, unemotional and necessary. Success requires a magnifying glass, not a megaphone. You must examine the fine print of your life with clinical detachment. When you cut ties, do it without fanfare or explanation. The quietest exits are often the most powerful. Let the dust motes dance in the light while you move on to the next objective, leaving the past exactly where it belongs. Rule 5. Read the contract twice, but trust only once. In a world of identical promises, look for the small mark of true distinction. Trust is a rare currency. Spend it wisely. Verify the details, understand the risks, and once the crown is identified, commit fully. These are the rules of the few. Master them or be ruled by them. Rule 5 reminds us that value is rarely found in the tag, but in the substance. By stripping away the noise of external pricing, you focus on the intrinsic merit of your craft. When the crown of quality is the only identifier left, you transition from a commodity to a category of one. Trust the contract, but verify the worth yourself. Rule 6 is a refusal to descend into the race to the bottom. A cluttered mind and a crowded market are the same thing. Chaos. Competing on price is a confession that your work has no unique soul. It is the loudest way to announce you are replaceable. To win, you must first stop playing the game of comparisons. Instead of fighting for a larger slice of a shrinking pie, you build a new table entirely. A single, high-quality focus renders the competition irrelevant. This is the hallmark of the millionaire mindset, creating a standard so high that the very concept of a rival disappears. Clarity is your greatest competitive advantage in a world of noise. Rule 7 introduces the most critical ledger of all, your attention. While others obsess over dollars, you must budget your focus. By documenting the worst-case scenario, you strip fear of its power and define the boundaries of your risk. Writing it down makes the abstract concrete, allowing you to allocate your mental energy with surgical precision. Every unresolved thought is an open tab draining your cognitive battery. When you file away your fears and plans with finality, you stop the unbudgeted mental withdrawals that bankrupt your creativity. Discipline isn't just about what you do, it is about what you allow to occupy your mind. Close the drawer and regain your power. Rule 8 teaches us that numbers are survivable, but vague fears are lethal. In the boardrooms of the mind, the loudest voices are often the most uncertain. People will whisper about risks they cannot quantify. You must remain the empty chair, unmoved by the shadows of speculation, focused only on the data that truly matters for your ascent. The antidote to anxiety is documentation. By locking your fears within the pages of a ledger, you transform them from monsters into manageable variables. A fear articulated is a fear half conquered. This green leather book represents the transition from emotional reaction to strategic action. If it can be measured, it can be overcome. Rule 9 is the most difficult to master, the art of letting others be wrong about you. When your progress is measured in internal growth and quiet accumulation, the world will misjudge your trajectory. Let them. A glowing number in your private ledger is worth more than 1,000 public accolades. Your results will eventually speak for themselves. The path to extraordinary wealth is often a lonely one. Walking away from the noisy crowd isn't an act of arrogance, it is an act of preservation. Long-term results require a level of patience that the masses find intolerable. While they chase the immediate, you pursue the inevitable. Your silence is the shield that protects your vision. As we summarize these 9 cold rules, understand they are not suggestions, but a framework for a different kind of life. The doorway to true independence is narrow and requires the shedding of common habits. These rules provide the quiet power necessary to navigate the dark corridors of uncertainty and emerge into the light of absolute financial sovereignty. Intelligence is common, but the stability to apply it consistently is rare. Like a steady flame in a drafty room, these rules keep you burning bright while others flicker and fade. Success isn't about being the smartest person in the room, it's about being the one who refuses to be extinguished by the winds of temporary trends. Commitment is a heavy door that few have the strength to close. Each of the 9 symbols represents a boundary you have set between yourself and the mediocre world. To keep these rules in silence is to respect the gravity of your own ambition. Once the door is shut, the work truly begins in the sacred space of focus. There is a profound calm that follows the storm of discipline. As the golden light of dawn fills your study, you realize that the rules weren't meant to restrict you, but to set you free. The dust motes dance in a space of perfect order. You have mastered the silent language of wealth and the internal architecture of success. The day ends not with exhaustion, but with the quiet satisfaction of a plan executed. Closing the ledger is a ritual of finality and peace. You do not need the world's validation when your own records confirm your progress. This is the discipline of the silent path, a journey measured in steady steps and unwavering resolve. In a city that never sleeps, the most powerful light is the one that burns in solitude. You are part of a silent elite who follow the 9 cold rules. While the world chases shadows, you possess the substance. Your success is quiet, your wealth is deep, and your future is entirely of your own making.